Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nakifami bin Kamal and I had been given the task to elaborate more about OSHA Part 21, Section 32 to 34. So before I go through my part, I will tell a little bit about OSHA. OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Administration, an agency of the US Department of Labor. OSHA's responsibility is to improve worker safety and health protection. On December 29, 1917, President Nixon signed the OSHA Act. This act created OSHA, the agency which formally came into being on April 28, 1971. So, Part 32, Notification of Accidents, Dangers, Occurrence, Occupational Poisoning and Occupational Disease. First of all, an employer shall notify the nearest Occupational Safety and Health Office of any accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, or occupational disease which has occurred or is likely to occur at a place of work. This means that if the worker had an accident, whether it is non-fatal or fatal, the employer must notify the safety officers so the worker's health is guaranteed. The second one is that every registered medical practitioner or medical officer attending to or called in to visit a patient whom he believed to be suffering from any of the disease listed in the third schedule of the Factories and Machinery Act 1967, Act 139, page 38, or any disease named in any regulation or order made by the minister under this act, or occupational poisoning shall report the matter to the Director General. In this case, we have two sides, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 and the Factories and Machinery Act 1967. So, one shall report the matter to the Director General for Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, and for the Factories and Machinery Act 1967, they must inform it to the Chief Inspector or the occupier. So, for the third schedule of the Factories and Machinery Act 1967, notifiable occupational disease. First of all, it is dust disease of the lung. The second one is the systematic intoxication. The third one is the pulmonary irritation, and the fourth one is the intoxication resulting from handling or insecticides. The fifth one is the pulmonary irritation, and the sixth one is occupational infections or anthrax, and the seventh is the malignant disease. The eighth is the eye conditions or cataract. The ninth one is the toxic jaundice, and the 10th is the heat exposure. 11th is the exposure to ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, and the 12th one is the decomposition sickness. This schedule of the Factories and Machinery Act 1967 can be found in Act 139. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Arshaf bin Ahmad Niza. Thank you Nakifami for the explanation for part 32. Now I will explain for the part 33 and 34. Let's go.
Now I will explain about part 33 and part 34. First, for the part 32, Director General may direct inquiry to be held. First, Director General can appoint one or more person such as engineer, medical, appropriate skill, and OSH officer. This is because for conduct inquiry to determine the nature and cause of accidents, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, or occupational disease. This situation can be held at office or the site of the accidents. Next, every person not being a public officer serving as an assessor in the inquiry may be paid an allowance at such rates as the minister may determine. Next, those appointed as assessors must not have personal interest in the outcome of the inquiry and must not be biased. Now, I will explain about part 34. That is a power of occupational safety and health at inquiry. OSH officer is the highest, while below his is the power of the first class magistrate. Next, below the power of the first class magistrate, there are three. That is firstly, maintenance order. Next, production of document, and lastly, compelling attendance. As a OSH officer, you are always required to report the incidents and to do a record. Why do we need to do so? This is because, firstly, to act as a database. Next, to ensure a proper implementation of Act. Next, to assist OSH officer to carry out their duties. Next, to prevent similar case to happen. Next, to identify the cause of the accident. Supplementary instruction for reporting and record keeping duties for employers. Next, who can perform the inquiry? Person appointed by the Director General and OSH officer. If you are the OSH officer and you want to perform an inquiry on an incident that happened in a workshop, in opinion, what authorization that you have in order to inquiry? So the answer is a production of a document, maintenance order, and a compelling attendance. So that's all from me. Thank you.